I was drifting towards sleep when my phone hummed. A text from my neighbor, "Don't go downstairs. Stay in your room." My heart clenched. The words cut through the still, dark air of my bedroom. I stared at the screen, confused, rooted in place. "Why?" I typed back. No answer came. Then footsteps, slow, deliberate, scraping the wooden floor of my living room. I knew that sound too well, but I was supposed to be alone. I slid from bed, bare feet chilled on the floorboards. I cracked the door open, letting hallway light spill in. The footsteps stopped, and silence pressed against the walls. It wasn't empty silence, it watched me back. My throat tightened, but I didn't call out. I knew better. I waited, every muscle taut, calculating. If someone was in my house, I needed to know who and why. Morning arrived, cloaked in false safety. She, my wife, was downstairs, pouring coffee as if nothing had happened. I studied her, the way her hair fell, the calm rhythm of her hand stirring sugar. She didn't look rattled, not like someone who'd heard footsteps in the night. I wanted to ask, "Did you hear anything? Were you downstairs?" But I held back, measuring the silence instead. Then I noticed her phone on the counter, face down, buzzing once then again. She didn't touch it. When she stepped into the next room, I flipped it over. An unfamiliar name flashed on the screen. 3 messages, brief, intimate. My stomach twisted. She returned, and I placed the phone back exactly as it was. She smiled, offered me coffee. I sipped, watching her lips curve into that smile. The kind that hides something deep. That night, as she slept, I scrolled through her messages. Words not meant for me. Words that should have been mine. I kept going until one stopped me cold. Last night was risky. He almost heard me. The footsteps. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I gathered, observed. Patterns emerged fast. Late-night errands, showers at odd hours, messages shielded by a tilt of her wrist. I copied numbers from her phone, ran quiet searches at work. One belonged to a man 2 streets away. Married, 2 kids. I drove by his house once, saw her car parked nearby, tucked out of sight. My chest hollowed, but my face stayed calm. I ordered a DNA test, not for me, but for our daughter. Her eyes, I realized with sickening clarity, were his, something I'd always ignored. I sent it off in silence. Nights stretched into fragile hours. I lay beside her, her warmth a lie against my skin. I memorized her breathing, the way she turned away in her sleep. I became 2 men, the husband she thought she still held, and the one weaving threads to trap her. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, thin, final. I opened it slowly, as if truth could be softened by delay. It couldn't. The child wasn't mine. I sat, staring at the numbers, the percentages, the cold certainty. The world blurred around me. My pulse steadied, oddly calm. I didn't cry or shout. I just sat, holding the weight of it, letting it settle into my bones. That night at dinner, I slid the envelope across the table. She glanced at it, laughed nervously. "What's this?" "Open it." Her hands trembled as she pulled out the paper. I watched her face collapse, muscles folding, betraying the smile she tried to hold. She whispered, You did a test?" "Yes." The silence stretched long after that. She began to cry. Words poured out, apologies, excuses, promises. I sat still, composed, not a tear, not a raised voice. When her sobs slowed, I leaned forward. "I know about him. The man 2 streets over. I know where you've been." Her mouth fell open. Shock. She hadn't expected precision, hadn't expected me to be steps ahead. I slid my wedding ring onto the table, let it rest there, cold and final. "You wanted a secret life," I said softly. "Now you can have it entirely." Her face broke. She reached for me, but I pushed my chair back, calm, detached. "I won't ruin you. Not publicly. That would be mercy compared to what's coming." She froze. The silence, the waiting, the wondering. What had I told? What had I kept? She didn't know, and that was the point. I didn't need to shout or destroy. I only needed her to feel the weight of her own choices. I didn't leave right away. That was part of it. I stayed, slept in the same bed, ate at the same table. Silence was my weapon. She never knew what I'd do next, or what I'd already done. Each day she withered. Apologies turned to paranoia, paranoia to fear, fear to desperation. I never shouted, never struck, never forgave. I only watched. By the time I left weeks later, she was already hollowed out. I closed the door behind me quietly without regret. Because sometimes revenge isn't fire, it's ice. And I had frozen her world completely. I walked away, carrying the truth like a blade, sharp and unseen. She'd live with the silence now, the same silence she'd built. The one that would never let her rest. Thank you for being with me. How do you like this story? Write in the comments what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the bell so you don't miss new videos. See you later.